Hi, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be giving a quick introduction to the SourceTree environment. So I'm going to be going through working with all of this, and then in the end, we're going to start working on making some commits. So this is what our SourceTree environment looks like for now. Now you can't really see anything since there's nothing to commit, but I'm going to go ahead and open up my Git GUI, and I'm just going to make a new file, and I'm just going to call it something random, maybe, text, something like that. There we go. So let's go ahead and check our SourceTree. So there we go. You can see that we have a brand new window here. So I'm not going to go through and actually do anything, but I'm going to give a quick introduction to the environment here. So first of all, on the top bar, we have a few options. Under commit, when you click on it, it's going to bring up a window that allows you to type in a message and, commit your files. Under pull, you can actually pull information from a certain repository. Now, once we do that, it's going to pull it into our local repository, and we'll be working with that towards the end of this section. You can also push and fetch, so pretty much the same things. Then you have things here. So if you click on this, you can actually create a new branch. You can delete branches. Here, you can merge the branches. So here it brings up a little window. You can, it shows all the branches. You can click them, merge them together. You can do all sorts of things. So that's pretty much all of the different commands that you can do. Now, adding and committing, removing, working with the staging area, you can't there's no buttons up here that says add, remove, commit. Well, there is a commit button, but this is all down here. So you can see here that it says staged files and unstaged files. So in the unstaged files, it's going to be the changes or the untracked files. And you can actually right click each one of them and add them separately if you want. And then up here is going to be the staging area. Now, if you click on the file, it's going to bring up a little window here showing all of the changes that you've made. So what lines you've added, what lines you've removed, and what lines you've modified. So I think that's a really cool feature. You can see what's going on. Also under here is pretty much your commit bar where you can see what's going on. So under commit options, there's a few things you can do. We're not really going to work with them. There's some of them pull requests and some just more advanced options, but we're not going to really go over those in this course. So we have this thing called Git flow up here, which is pretty much like a template for your repository. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. You can see here we have a production branch and a development branch. So we actually worked on this a little bit earlier. I showed you we worked with it with the terminal. You can see here we have a development branch and a master branch. So that's kind of what Git flow does. It sets all of that up for you by default. So kind of like a template. You click on terminal and it's going to open up Git bash in the directory or in your repository. You can see by default. So I think that's a really useful feature if you want to play around or do something with the terminal that it's a little bit hard to do with the GUI. You can also open up an explorer, and in settings, you can work with the remote repository path that you want, all sorts of things like that. So we'll go over that later, but configuring the settings and everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and commit the file really quick here. Don't worry about what I'm doing right now. I'll teach you all of that in the coming videos. So of course you're going to enter your details. I'm just going to put my email and my name, just like that. There we go. So I'm going to commit it. Seems like that's having a little bit of trouble. Anyway, so what you're going to do, you commit it, and then if you go here to working copy, what it's going to do is pull up all of the history of your commit. So it seems like it doesn't seem to be working here. But there you go. So what it's going to do is pull up pretty much all the history of your commit. Now, of course, I can't show you that now since it doesn't seem to be working. But it's going to show all of these different nodes and the text from the commit. So it's a really nice way to look at your commits and see all of it in a more visual sense, because through the terminal and your Git log, it doesn't really show you what's going on behind the scenes. It's really hard to visualize it. So I feel like that's one of the best features of using a GUI like this. You can actually see what's going on. So you also have a few more things right here. So you have remotes, which is going to show you all of your remote repository, stashes, which is a way of sort of storing uncommitted changes if you're trying to push or pull or do something like that. If you have changes that aren't committed, usually this would happen when you have a bigger project, not something like this. You have a few other things as well. You have tags, you have branches, which is going to open up a list of branches. And of course you have your file status, like I was just saying. If you open up working copy, what that's going to do is pretty much just show you your history. So all of the commits that you've made. If we also open up log/history, you can see right there, that's what I was talking about. It is kind of like the nodes that you've made. We have one node, which is all the uncommitted changes. It doesn't seem to be working the commit, as you could see, but here's where you would see all the commits that you're making. So if you make another commit, it's going to show there. If you make a branch, it's going to make a literal branch. It's going to show you how everything is looking. So like I said, this is one of the best features of using a GUI. You can really visualize what's going on. All right, there we go. So that's pretty much it for the introduction to SourceTree. It's a pretty nice software, and that's why we're covering it. But as we go on, we'll actually get used to more of the features. This is kind of more like a preliminary, so you can get used to, you know, some of the, basically the environment, because it's quite a sharp adjustment from a terminal to a program. So it's better if you just get used to all of the different features. It's a little bit tough to work with. So what we're going to be doing over the next few videos is not only introducing some of the SourceTree features, but actually going through and trying to integrate the Git features properly into SourceTree. All right, let's move on.